Train is written by Paula Hawkins, and this was released in the year 2015. It's a very famous book that got released, very thriller-ish. So the very next year itself, it was adopted into a movie, and the famous Emily Blunt had starred in this. The book cover or the short information about the story does not do justice to the story at all, because when I took this book from the library back, I took it mainly because of the color red. Every other book was very boring in color, old edition print and everything. I took it for the color of this, and I read it very quickly. And I was like, okay, let's read it. And even few of my friends will just, take a video and go through quickly so you can do the review. But then I really want to give, a proper review to this. So I read through, and once I started reading it, I could not keep this down. It was that amazing. So we have a lot of characters in this. The main character protagonist is Rachel. She's a lady who's in her mid-30s. She's an alcoholic. She used to be married, and due to certain issues with her character and her husband, she got divorced. And she lives in a village called Ashburn. Okay. And she works in London, or she used to work in London. So she used to take the train every day morning at 8:04, and exactly at 54 minutes every day it will reach the London station. But it doesn't mean all the 54 minutes goes in traveling. In those 54 minutes, mostly only 30 minutes is the traveling journey in the train. The rest 20 to 24 minutes goes in sightseeing. That is, the train gets stuck in a certain station, and she'll be sitting by the window side, and she'll be watching at the suburbs and the village houses. So the stop that the train stops and that she sightsees is the village named Whitney. And there used to be a lot of houses in the suburbs of Whitney where the train stops for some time. And she particularly always notices two houses. And one of the house, she used to see a beautiful man and a beautiful lady. A blonde woman and a very tall man, handsome, very nice chiseled jaw and everything. And she even named them. She named the lady as Jess and the man as Jason. And since she's a divorced person who had a very tough past, let's say, she would be very envious of them, because in their the house, or let's say it's an apartment, in the balcony they will sit together. That is, Jess will sit with a cup of coffee or something, and Jason will stand behind and hug them from behind, and they'll keep talking. So that is something she used to be very envious about what she wanted. And when she crosses by, she tries not to look at the next house. And one day, it's a glance. You somehow catch a glance of the next house, and she sees a lady sitting by the window with her stomach swelling. She is pregnant, and she is sad now. When she sees this pregnant woman, she is sad. Let's get why she is sad later. And she every day reaches the London station, Euston station, every 54 minutes. She'll go to the library. Does she work or not? We'll get to know that later. And then by the evening, 5:30ish, she'll take another train, which will take almost 1 hour 7 minutes to reach her home back in Ashburn. So again the stop will be there at Whitney, where she will sit by the window and she will watch. If she'll wait for Jess and Jason to sit and see how lovely they are to each other. She gets back home and she lives with her college roommate, Kathy. Kathy is not necessarily a very nice person or her best friend, but then since, like I said, Rachel is an alcoholic. So Kathy has a soft spot for her. And Kathy has a boyfriend, Damien, so mostly she lives at her boyfriend's apartment. But out of the small space, she gave one room for Rachel, and Rachel, she doesn't feel that comfortable in that space because her roommate that she is not friends with, but she is glad that she has a place to call as home. So mostly she'll be cooped up in her own room. She goes to kitchen, but she'll see Kathy and Damien. She'll just get a cup of whatever she wants and she'll get back to her. Like I said, she's an alcoholic. Every day, her day ends with a bottle of red wine or some kind of gin and tonic. Or she will go to the corner of the street and she'll go to a bar and she'll drink. So this is the life of Rachel. Her life is quite steady. 54 minutes travel to the Houston London station. She will work, she will come back. On the both-way journey, she will admire the life of Jess and Jason. Now we have Megan. Megan is not an alcoholic, but she is definitely a very depressed person. She had a rough childhood. To begin with, she had a very happy childhood, but then she was very close to her brother, who she had so much plans with. When we grow up, we have to go here, we have to go there. But then sadly, her brother passed away with a certain accident. And she has a husband named Scott, and their family name is Hipman. So her name is Megan Hipman, and her husband's name is Scott Hipman. He's a very good husband, very loving husband, very accepting husband. She has a lot of flaws in her. When a person is depressed, she's always moping around, very sad around the house. It's always a very gloomy situation. But then he's very accepting of her situation. He understands that she had a rough memory of her childhood, and she's understanding. But that's not the only flaw in her character. She is not a very genuine wife, let's say. She's not, let's say, Scott is not the only man in her life. She has someone else. Or maybe she has more than one person. So, like I said, Scott is a very loving person, but then when he has a job, he has to attend to a job. So morning after the breakfast and everything, he goes to a job. She used to own a gallery, an art gallery. She used to be very passionate about. But due to a certain problem, her gallery was closed down and she doesn't run the gallery. At least when she had the gallery, she was very occupied with the gallery that she did not think about her sadness and her brother passing away. It was always within her, but it doesn't affect her. But then once the gallery closed down, it was very hard for her to cope up with this loss and the loss of her gallery. And she's mostly alone at home, right? So Scott, her husband, told that, two houses down her house, there's a lady, and basically they're neighbors. Doesn't mean they're the closest neighbor, but they're neighbors. And she had a child recently. You can babysit her for the time being. So she will go to the house, not willingly at all, because she doesn't have a child. She has a certain rough memory with the child, so she does not want to, but then to fill her time, she goes and babysits. She babysits, she'll come back to home, but then we don't know exactly she's just babysitting and come back. She could have so many things happening. But then one of her guilty pleasure or the thing that she does apart from living alone in that house and babysitting is Pilates. She goes with her friend Tara to Pilates. It's basically yoga-ish. Not yoga, but it is like an exercise where you just stretch your muscles. She goes with Tara. And like I said, Scott is not the only man in her life. She sees someone else. But we will come to that later. Her husband knows that she is very sad. So she will suggest that you see a therapist. Like I said, this is not the initial idea of who's that? Megan. Megan did not want a therapist. She was sad, but she did not look for a therapist. But it was Scott's idea, saying that you need a therapist. So she will go to the therapist, she will talk to the therapist about her loss of her brother and all that. But the thing is, she's not totally honest. That is not the only sadness in her heart. So slowly she will start enjoying that session, or maybe she will start enjoying the session a little too much. She will get a little personal in her life. So one day when her session did not end the way that she wanted it to, she will follow Scott to his doorstep and she will knock and she'll get into the house and they're having an affair. So we know that now Scott is not the only person in her life. The therapist named Amala Darathy is her therapist who she is having an affair with. Now let's come back to Rachel. Like I said, Rachel was very envious of Jason and Jess, right? At the same time, she saw a woman next door with her stomach swelled, who she was pregnant with. One day when she was going to the Houston station, she didn't want to glance at that window, but she glanced at it and she sees a baby in the hand of the window. And she starts crying. It's a very crowded train and her eyes start staring up and she's crying so much. And then the twist here is her ex-husband, Tom Watson, is the father of the child. Okay? So the reason she does not want to once upon a time, 2 years back, she used to live in that house. She used to live with me in the street, Glenhead. So basically, Jason and Jess, she used to live 2 houses down the line, where now the lady and the child are. The lady is the one, her ex-husband cheated her on her. The problem is, Rachel couldn't give a child. She already had drinking problems, but it was always contained. She did not drink too much. She just drank to enjoy. Drank to enjoy. But then, they were trying for a child. Tom is a good husband or was a good husband, but that doesn't necessarily mean he was an honest husband. He used to take care of her. They wanted a child, and they did, since they couldn't naturally conceive, they did a round of I-B.Ed. I-B.Ed was very costly. With their life savings, they did 1 round of I-B.Ed, which did not turn out successful. And then she wanted to do it again, and when she suggested that to Tom, he said, we don't have any life savings anymore. Let's think about it. But then he, being a very self-centered and a man who really wanted a child and a family, he started looking for a woman outside this. And she found this through a message in his mobile. Once Tom's mobile lit up, and she saw a message which was very sweet and cute, saying to a lady that I can't be with you. It's not exactly the words, but it is more detailed and everything. So she knows that he's having an affair. So the conversation welled up, and they had a fight, and they divorced anyway. So now the lady is named Anna Watson, who took the surname of Tom Watson, and they have a child now called Eve. The person who she does not want to see, she has ended up seeing. So she knows that they have a child. What she always wanted. So which makes her drink more. So when she drinks, she totally blacks out. She cannot remember whatever she wants to remember. Once when the day she saw Evie at the lap of Anna through the train, she drank a lot the very evening, and she made a call to Tom saying that I miss you, I want you back, all that. But the thing is, when she drinks and blacks out, she can't remember what she did. So she does not remember what happened. So later, Anna called her and said that please don't bother our lives. We have a daughter now, we're trying to be happy, and so on. And her being very envious, she obviously, she wanted to go. She wanted to know what life they are living, what my life they are living. Because that used to be her home. She used to live there. But now, the second person who came is happily living in that house. So she'll go there, and she somehow makes a ruckus there. And since she's very drunk, she doesn't remember anything. So she'll come back the next day, and Tom has left a lot of missed calls with her mobile saying that, call me back, I'm trying to reach you, you came to my house and you made a lot of ruckus, get back to me, I want to talk to you. She can't remember anything. And next day, when she's going to her office in London at 8th floor, she crosses a newspaper center. She takes a newspaper and she sees the picture of a lady named Megan. Megan is missing. Now she did not know who Megan was, but now she has seen the picture of Megan. Can you guess who Megan could be? Megan is Jess, the lady that she used to be envious about, watching at the balcony of her own house. That is, Rachel will be sitting in the train, and she's envious about the life of Jess and Jason, and Jess is none other than Megan, who was the neighbor of Anna, who she babysitted for. So now Megan is missing. And when did she go missing? The very night Rachel was in town when she made a ruckus at Anna's house. Now she cannot remember. And Anna, since Rachel came to the house and made a ruckus, she told the police that this lady came over and she tried to take my baby and run away, which she did, but she did not do it with a conscious mind. She was in the house, she tried to take the baby and she was about to jump out of the fence. When Anna saw, and she stopped her. And she told the police saying that the day Megan went missing, she was here. I think she is here today. Now, Inspector Gessel and Riley will go to her house. Whose house? Rachel's house, and they will question her. But then Rachel was so drunk, she cannot remember a thing from that day. She's trying to connect the dots. All she could remember is she was drunk, and she came with a lot of bruises all over her body and a cut by her mouth. So she thought since she was so drunk, she might have tripped by the railway station and she might have cut herself. But then she can't exactly put a detail on what happened to her. And later on, now she figured it right. Megan is none other than the Jess. One detail that she forgot is, once when she was going to the train, she saw Jess sitting on the balcony, who was Megan. But then this time, a man came from her behind and hugging her. She was anticipatedly waiting to be Jason because they were so loving, they were the most cute couple that she was very envious about. But this time it was not Jason, it was not Scott. It was Kamal Abdul, her therapist. So she remembered this detail, and when she knew that Megan went missing, the police came, interrogated her, she couldn't remember much. So she didn't give much details to it. But the next day she remembered this. She remembered that once she saw Megan on her own balcony, but not with her husband, someone else. So her investigation mode starts. She wants to find if she go missing or someone kidnapped her. So her all attention was on Kamal Abdul. So she goes the very next day, go to the police station. The police had warned, you had tried to kidnap Anna's child, so please don't come to with me anymore. This is not your village. It used to be a village, not your village. Stay away. But then she was very invested in Megan. She does not bother about town now anymore. She does. Back of the head, he's still the ex-husband that she badly wants. But then now it's all about Megan, the envious couple that she was so happy about. So jealous about. So now she goes to the police station and she's saying, I saw this man on her balcony. Now she's a drunkard. She's an alcoholic. Will anybody believe her? No. They don't want to believe her. At least Inspector Gessel is ready to listen to her, but Riley, being a woman, she still sees her as a suspect. She thinks that she was involved because she was there in the village the very night Megan went missing. So now she puts on the investigator thing. She doesn't care if the inspectors are ready to listen to her or not. She tries to solve this. So she wants to get herself into the life of Scott. So she tells that, I used weapons with your wife Megan when she had the cannon. Was she? No. So she goes to Scott. Somehow she approaches him. And he's in the middle of grief. He doesn't know what happened to her or anything. Okay, so he doesn't know what happened to her or anything. So she just wants to get the information across. And she tells him, and this guy doesn't know this lady. And she does not tell that she is a drunkard and alcoholic. So he felt like she was a savior of her. Thank you so much, thank you for telling this, let me talk to the police. So she says, when you tell the police, don't use my name. Because the police already know who Rachel is and what she is. She's an alcoholic. So she tells that, don't use my name, just say that you're suspecting Abdul. And then he talks about it, and they do investigate Abdul, and then they found a piece of hair in his house. But it is not the same as the last time she knocked on his door and went to meet him. This was another situation. Like I said, Megan had a very rough past. When she was 19, she lived with a man who was much older than him, but she was in love. So, when she lived with that person, she obviously had a very intimate relationship with that person, and she felt pregnant. Did she want to be pregnant at 19 years old? No. But she was conceived with a child, and 9 months passed and she had the child. When the child was born, she was very emotionally attached, physically attached to the child. So one day she went to take a bath in her tub. She filled the tub with water, she lied down, and she put her child on her chest. And she fell asleep on the tub, and sadly, unfortunately, the child drowned on the tub and died. So now she has a very, very important memory with the child. That is the main reason she did not want to babysit Anna's child, because she has a very bad memory with the child who was very close to her. So she told her then boyfriend named Mac, Mac. He said, I can't deal with this, let me go for a walk and come. He went for a walk, it's been 1 day, 2 days, it's been 10 days, he did not come back. So her child is gone, her father of the child is gone. So she comes to a new city and she starts her life, where she saw Scott and fell in love. So this Scott went to the police writer. He told that I have a question with her. I think I suspect the therapist and everything. They did their details, they found whatever. They said a new detail to Scott. He found a wife. She was found on the river side of bank of the river, side of the river. Since it was raining, someone might have left the body a little bit deeper than the surface level. Since it was raining, the body has somehow come up. And they found her pregnant. She was dead and she was pregnant. Now she is very happy. Oh my God, it was my child, so I lost my child. And then he is very close now to Rachel, because Rachel was the one who said that she was having an affair, right? So he feels that she is the same. So he shares everything with her. And he says that, she was, I found her dead body and she was pregnant. I couldn't even see my own child. But then now she asked, do you think it really was a child? She was having an affair. So they did next day goes on. I'm needing a lot of details, okay, because we're running out of time. But the next day they're trying to get a DNA test of the child. Now the child is not Abdix or Scott's. Like I said, she did not have one man or two men. She had multiple men. So it's not her husband's, not the person who she's having affair. Now who is that other person? So this, like I said, Rachel is trying to dig so many details. She is being the investigator of this, what happened, her death, and the way that she went, she was drunk and she came to the hut. Now she is thinking, if I fall, will I get such a big hurt? And now she is trying to get all the memory of the very night. She remembers seeing a red-haired man. So one day when she was at train, she sees a red-haired man again. And she tries to make a conversation with him. And he says, we both were drunk. But then I helped you. You were down by the railway stairs. And I helped you up. And she's like, someone was trying to find me. So Tom was trying to find her. That's how Tom told her. Like, I was trying to find you. I saw you in the railway. You ran away. So she asked, did you see anybody with me? He was like, no. So where was I? So she's trying to get the memory back and back. So a few chapters later, she remembers that she was in there's a, railway track door. She was below that and she sees Tom walking away. Tom said he was trying to, help her. Then why is he walking away? And then she remembers that Tom wasn't walking away alone. He was walking away with a lady. So now he is trying to figure, was it Anna? It must be Anna. But then they wouldn't leave their daughter alone. They have a baby. They have a baby who's months old. They wouldn't leave the baby alone. So she doesn't know, Megan babysits or something. So that she's like, how can they leave the child alone? So she interrogates him one day. Like, where are you with Anna? And he said he's going to the gym. But then when she came to the room, she sees his gym bag. And the gym bag is still there. And she finds a mobile in it. And the mobile, she thinks that, Anna thinks that he's having an affair again with Rachel. Why is she having an affair again with Rachel? But then this time, it's not Rachel. It's another person. Do you want me to continue the story or do you want to read it? Since we're running out of time, the last 15 pages, 15 to 20 pages max. Read this book. It's under rack R34A2 and everybody involved in this story is the one you will end up with. Who the father of Megan's unborn child was, who Tom was having an affair with. Everybody under here. Last 15 pages max. So please give it a read and you will love this. Have you heard about Stephen King? A very famous writer. He himself told that, kept me up most of the night. Honestly, the first probably like 250 pages went very slow for me because we were very occupied with a lot of things. The last 50 pages, man, I couldn't keep the book down. I sat till 11:30 one day and I read, and my bedtime is 10. I sacrificed 1.5 hours extra for this book and it was worth it. So you guys should definitely read it. I'm so glad I picked up this book because it was right. So please give it a read. It's a very interesting book. I hope you enjoy it.